Did you know you can use ChatGPT to get a full stock market summary in seconds? You don't have to spend hours reading reports or scroll through endless financial news. Sounds like a dream, right? In this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step method on how to use ChatGPT for fundamental and technical analysis, tracking market sentiment, and even finding undervalued stocks. So I have these 9 tricks which will help you go from a beginner to a pro in stock analysis using AI. Also, if you stay till the end, I'll show you how to set up real-time stock alerts so you never miss out on an opportunity. So let's get started. So to do a complete analysis of a stock using ChatGPT, we are going to do 5 simple steps. The first step is to do a fundamental analysis. A fundamental analysis is a way to check if a stock is worth buying by looking at how strong and profitable a company is. It focuses on the company's real value based on its business and financial health. So to analyze the fundamentals, now if you click the link below this video, you will get this document where you will see a list of prompts. Copy the first one, come back to ChatGPT and paste it here. Now in the first line of the prompt, you have to mention the name of the stock for which you want to do the analysis for. I'll enter TCS and here mention the stock exchange. I'll just type National Stock Exchange or NSE and click send. Here you can see that ChatGPT has given us a report based on these sources, and when we click here, you can see all the websites that ChatGPT has analyzed or read before giving us this output. First, we have the financial statements of the company. What you see here is the revenue growth of the company, and you can see that TCS has had a 7.7% growth in the recent financial year. The company has also performed better than the previous quarter with a 2.3% increase in revenue. If you scroll down, here you can see the earnings per share. The earnings per share or EPS tells us how much profit a company makes per share of its stock. A higher EPS usually means a more profitable company. ChatGPT also tells us that TCS has been debt-free for the past 5 years and the company is financially stable. The next thing to notice is valuation metrics. Here we have something called PE and PB ratio. The PE or price to earnings ratio is like asking, am I paying the fair price for a stock that I'm getting? For example, imagine you're buying cookies. You pay 20 rupees for one cookie. Well, that's expensive and maybe the cookie looks fancy or people think it'll taste amazing later. This is what we call high PE ratio. This means that the stock you want to buy is expensive or investors expect big growth. Now let's say you pay 5 rupees for one cookie. That's cheap. But maybe it's not very tasty or people don't want it. This is what we call low PE ratio. This means that the stock you want to buy is cheap or the company is not doing well. So the PE ratio helps us to get an idea of whether a stock might be overpriced, underpriced or fairly priced based on how much the company earns. The PE ratio of TCS is 28.04. So let's compare this ratio with the company's competitors like Infosys, HCL and Wipro. You can see that TCS has the highest PE ratio, which means the stock is overpriced and there's room for growth. Next, we have the PB ratio, which tells us if the company's stock price is high or low compared to what it owns. For example, let's say the value of a bakery shop with all the equipment and cookies it has is 100 rupees. But someone pays 300 rupees for the entire shop and its equipment. This is what we call a high PB ratio, because the person is buying the shop for 3 times the original value, believing the shop will do well in the future. Now, if someone buys the same bakery for 50 rupees, then the shop has low PB ratio because the person is buying the shop for half its original price, thinking the shop will not grow much. Now, the PB ratio of TCS is 12.49. And comparing this with the company's competitors such as Infosys, HCL and Wipro, you can see that TCS has the highest PB ratio, which means people are believing that the value of the stock will increase in the future. And here we have the dividend amount the company has given in the previous year, which was Rs 28 per share. It might not sound like a huge amount, but it's quite reasonable among IT sector companies. You can also assess the company's growth potential by looking at its investments in emerging areas like cloud computing and AI. And continuous investments in R&D along with the strong leadership has also contributed to its revenue growth. Coming to risk analysis, we see how a global economic crisis can affect the company. And as we already know, TCS is debt-free for the past 5 years, so there are no debt and liquidity risks. As for the recent news, the company has emerged to have complete positive updates in recent times. Finally, we have the investment outlook of the company. Now here we have to note two things: the bullish and bearish nature of stocks. Just like how a bull charges forward and hits its target upwards, similarly, a bull market happens when investors expect the stocks to rise. This makes the investors feel more confident, and meanwhile, a bear hits by standing upright and striking its target downwards with its claw. So similarly, a bear market happens when investors expect the stocks to fall or go down. This makes the investors feel negative. So ChatGPT tells us that TCS is bullish in nature because they have no outstanding debts and they also have made strategic investments and they prioritize innovation. TCS can also be bearish because we don't know what might happen to the stock value of the company because of its competitive pressures or when we have a sudden global economic crisis. Alright, so now you know how to use ChatGPT to do fundamental analysis for any stock. But before we move on to the next step, let's do something fun. Let's analyze this stock using some key principles by legendary investors like Warren Buffett. So let's go back to this document, copy this prompt, come back and paste it here. This shows Warren Buffett's investment criteria and whether TCS meets them. A green checkmark means that TCS passes the specific rule, like having good cash inflow or a competitive advantage. And here, there's only one reason why he wouldn't invest in this stock, and that is because the stock is currently overpriced. Also, instead of Warren Buffett, you can use the name of any investor you like or whose principle that you want to follow. You can do the same with any stock and go through all the reasons, and based on that, you can make an informed decision. Alright, so now we have successfully seen how to do fundamental analysis of any stock. Now let's move on to the next step, which is to do a technical analysis of the stock. A technical analysis is important because it helps to understand and predict whether a stock's price will go up or down based on past movements and patterns. Now to begin, we need the chart of our stock. So just click the link in the description below and it will take you to this website called TradingView. This website will help us get the chart for our stock. Now click here, enter the name of the company you want the chart for, then go here and click Launch Chart. Here we have a W icon. This means that the chart is showing the stock's weekly value over the years with each candle representing a week. But we need a more detailed data, so let's click here, scroll down and choose 1 day. Now each candle shows the stock price for every day over the past 3 years. We're going to use this chart to do technical analysis, so let's take a screenshot. Now go back to ChatGPT and upload it here. Then paste this prompt from the document into ChatGPT. Change the name of the stock and click here. And there you go. ChatGPT has analyzed the chart and gave us the technical analysis. First, we have the current price of the stock. Following that, we have the recent trend of the stock. The highest price for the stock was Rs 4,600, but since then the price of the stock has been falling and right now the stock is bearish in nature. And the final verdict that we have here is that the share price might drop even further and there might only be an uptrend if the share price goes above 4,000 rupees. Alright, so now you know how to use ChatGPT to do a technical analysis for any stock. So let's move on to the third step, which is to do the sentimental analysis. The sentimental analysis helps us to get the latest news and the updates about a stock. The news about a company or a stock will also determine whether the stock's value will increase or decrease. So let's begin by going back to the document, scroll down, copy this prompt and go back to ChatGPT. Paste the prompt, change the stock name and click here. Alright, we got a list of information here about the stock, but we are unsure how this information might impact the stock price. So to analyze it, let's go back to the document, Copy this prompt. Come back to ChatGPT. Paste it here. Change the stock name and click here. Alright, now ChatGPT has segregated all that information into different categories. First, the positive news. The company partnering with Salesforce for AI means there's potential long-term revenue growth. It has also been recognized as the top employer and one of the world's most admired companies, boosting its brand reputation. Now, the negative news. A former employee has accused the company for misrepresenting the job roles in the US for visas, which could affect the investors' trust. Additionally, the company has also tightened its attendance policy. While not directly impacting the stock prices, ChatGPT considers this slightly negative to neutral. Finally, we have some news about the stock performance. So based on a technical analysis, there's a warning that there might be a potential 16% drop from the current value of the stock. This is bad for investors, but long-term investors might consider this as an opportunity to buy more stocks. So the impact of this news is slightly negative. So guys, based on the analysis, the sentiment of this stock is neutral to slightly negative. And with this, we've completed the sentimental analysis using ChatGPT. And we have a better understanding of our stock status. Since news changes daily, staying updated is crucial. So to stay updated with the latest stock market news, we'll move to the fourth step, which is to get the daily stock news and summaries. So to get the daily stock updates and news, let's go back to the document. Copy this prompt. Come back here. Paste it. And click here. So here we go. We got the latest news. For example, here you can see a 0.5% drop in the market performance, which means investors are selling stocks more than buying. And here you can see that the automobile, pharmaceutical, and information technology are the major sectors where people are selling more stocks. Okay, here's something interesting. What if you don't want to search for the latest news every day? Imagine getting updates on your favorite stocks automatically right when you need them. Sounds cool, right? So let me show you how. But before we begin, you will have to upgrade to ChatGPT Plus because this feature is not available in the free version of ChatGPT. So after you upgrade your plan, on the ChatGPT homepage, just click here and select GPT-4o with scheduled tasks. Once you're done, go to the document, copy this prompt, go back to ChatGPT, paste the prompt, change the stock name, and click here. As you can see, it will give an update every day in the morning. Now to allow the notifications in Chrome, just click Allow. Then click here. Enable this option. And we are done. Alright, now when the time comes, ChatGPT will send a notification like this. If you click on it, you'll get the latest news and updates about the stock. And with that, we've completed the fourth step and learned how to access the latest stock news and summaries. So let's go to the final step, which is to use ChatGPT as a stock screener. Stock screening is the process of filtering all the stocks based on a particular criteria. This helps us to identify the best investment opportunities. Our goal here is to filter all of the undervalued stocks in the Indian stock market based on the metrics that we used for the fundamental analysis. We are choosing undervalued stocks because the risk of losing money here is very low and there's a great potential for steady growth. Legendary investors like Warren Buffett and Benjamin Graham have built their wealth by identifying and holding undervalued stocks with strong fundamentals. So to do that, let's again go back to the document. And here's the prompt. As I mentioned before, this prompt has the metrics from our fundamental analysis such as PE and PB ratio, dividend yield, and so on. Along with that, the prompt will also collect information from various websites like Reddit and StockTwits to give you the most relevant and accurate answers. So copy this prompt, come back to ChatGPT, paste it, and click here. And there we go. We got a list of undervalued stocks along with their details. So we have completed the stock screening, and with that, we have successfully learned how to do stock analysis with the help of ChatGPT. So that's it, guys. This is how you can use ChatGPT for stock analysis. You know, you can also use AI to build a side hustle. If you want to know how, you can watch this video. If you guys like this video, do give it a thumbs up and remember to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.